Hi, welcome back to Lakeside Quilt Making Arts. We are working on MODA Fabrics quilt along today. I'm working on the Blockheads 5, Group 2, Block 2. This one is by Lisa Bonjean of Primitive Gatherings. And in this one, she has used up the half square triangles. All the half square triangles in the world are inside this one block. All right, so what's our status? Guess what? Remember the issue I talked about last time I was working on this? That I had an iron issue? It's gunky again, and it's not touched a shirt since last Sunday. So how did it get gunky? I don't know. So what's my next step? I'm going to ignore the iron for a minute because it's frustrating me. And I'm going to think through what my block is going to look like. I've got my colored pencils out here and my shirts. I'm going to see where it goes for a minute and do that before I take on the frustrating act of cleaning my iron again. I think I shared last week that I wasn't thrilled with all of the white in the background of the block one that I did, the one that is Sherry McConnell's A Big Dream, I believe it was called. It's got too much white in it, and there's another fabric line that I found that I like, and it's called Shoreline by Roskelley. I can't think of her name. Camille Roskelley. It's beautiful, and it's exactly one of two, well, actually, all of its fabrics in that line. I love how well they coordinate, and that's exactly what I was envisioning for this quilt. I don't need to buy all the fabrics in that line. So there are some fabrics in that line that I adore, and they are exactly what I was envisioning for the quilt. I don't want to wait before I can get my hands on some of that fabric before I do any more of the blockheads. But what I've decided to do is the next one or two or three, whatever it takes before I get some of that fabric, the shoreline fabric, I'm just going to make those as 6-inch blocks. And that way, any of the stark white background will make, as it's blended into the bigger quilt, it'll be like little sparkles instead of the whole background being white for the entire quilt. It's kind of what I'm envisioning. If this is a wasted effort, then it's at least it's a learning effort, and it's therefore not completely wasted, right? Sorry about all the hand movements today. I seem to be very handy today. I'm going to give some thought to how I'm going to use the fabric for this quilt, for this block, and I'm just going to do the 6-inch, so it shouldn't take us that terribly long, but you say that just because it's 6 inches doesn't mean it's really that much less work. You still have to make the same amount of cuts, they're just smaller. So the iron is now clean, and I recorded how I did that for Tuesday's Tech Talk video. So if you want to see that process, that's where you can find that. I'm thrilled that it worked again. I'm not quite sure how it got gunky again, unless it was that pressing cloth that got something on it. And then that pressing cloth transferred it back to the iron. I think that's what happened. Why it got on the very same section of the iron leaves me puzzled. It's not like the iron surface it's not like that iron plate is porous. It's not like something can continue to come out from within. So something had to get on it. So I think it was the pressing cloth. So I've ironed all the shirts. I've ironed sections of all the shirts that I'm going to be using today, and including one that was a culprit from last weekend. The one that I thought was not 100% cotton because it tried to melt, but clearly it was whatever was on the iron that made it look like it was melting. So it was a user problem and an iron problem and not the shirt problem. Thank goodness, because I like that tone-on-tone green. Actually, inside that fabric line of Camille Roskelley's that I keep on talking about because I've fallen in love with it, Shoreline, there's a green tone-on-tone stripe in there. I thought, she was thinking the same way I was thinking. It's not exactly the same, clearly, but still seeing some stripes in there made me think that, okay, I'm on the right page. I'm on the right path. So this is what I've done. I have colored, I've got my samples here to show you what things are going to look like. So I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see, and I'll point to things, which is why I have my handy dandy little pointer. I use this, which is just a manicure tool, which I never use for manicure, and a pecan peeler, where you peel the shell, the meat of the pecan or the walnut out from the shell. for turning the seams and opening them up. I really like open seams. It just makes for a lot less mess on the back of your blocks. I don't always do that, but I do like that. So I use that at the ironing table, and then this one I keep at the sewing machine. I follow the patterns similar to what they had here. I like the fact that there were stars in the middle, and that seems to fit the concept that I was going for. Having just a few white sparkling throughout the quilt, and I thought, well, I could do that all in white, but then I changed up from making it all in white, and I'll show you that. So I'm just saying that I just went with this basic concept of putting this, which is the B fabrics, by the way, as the darkest areas. And that is this fabric for me. So that's my B. Now, this is A, which I am using this. This is kind of like one of the fabrics, or two of the fabrics, if not three, inside Camille Roskelley Shoreline, which is coming out in March. So you can go to Laundry Basket Quilts or elsewhere, I'm sure. You pay like $1.99 or $4.99, I think it is, depending on what size that you're reserving. But you are having to pay a reservation fee in order to make sure you get it. But there's some fabric in there. It's very similar to this. Okay, so this is my A, which will be going here, 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 all this background. So what you're going to end up with, of course, is a square in the middle. That's all this. And with this given design, that should be fine. It should look like a full square of just that. And then, so here in these exterior half square triangles are all in this background fabric. Okay, so C, which is the wings or the points of the stars, I'm going to do that in white. That's where my sparkle comes in. Remember, I'm doing the 6-inch on this. So this whole thing is going to be 6 inches. And then for the very center, which is the D fabric, there's 4 of these, that will be this fabric. So that's going to be the combinations right there. So it shouldn't be too hard, but there are 32 different things to cut out. Most of them are 2-inch squares, except for D, which is the center one, this right here. That will have to be cut in a 1.5-inch square, which is fine. I cut a 2-inch, I can just cut this down. So I've got one of them done. This should go quickly. Hang tight. Now it's time to trim it, see if I can get it to 6.5 inches. Kind of feel like it shrunk. Oh, it's not bad. Let me show you. So there's enough excess to be trimmed off that it can be squared up to 6.5 inches. I'm so very pleased. You see the color disbursement on this one with the background color, the background fabric having all these floral leaves in it. That's what I was wanting for the entire quilt. So I'm pleased with this little block. It encourages me that the direction I am dreaming of for this quilt is the right place to go. Let's go put it next to the other block. Yeah. That looks good, doesn't it? Can you just imagine a C of this? Ha, I didn't mean to make a pun, but I am going with the sea glass color combination. So a C of this is very punny. Okay, yes, it does work though. All punning aside, I'm very pleased with that. That's a good way to end the day. It is. Of course, you got to ignore the Quilt Show's block of the month. Just look at the color combinations going on with these two things. It looks good. It looks good. Clearly this background fabric is making a huge difference, right? These are the first cuts I've made into the shirt. So I have plenty more of it, and that will help us bring in this color and this kind of fullness of color throughout the quilt. But also I have some of the Shoreline fabric ordered from, Fat Quarter Shop. That's the Camille Roskelley line that replaced the Nantucket line that she had. I'm pleased. I think this is a great way to start a week on a nice success like this. This is fantastic. I hope you have a great week. Thank you for spending some of your quality time with me. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you for commenting, liking, subscribing, all those things. It really does matter to the channel. It matters to me. It helps me to know that what I'm doing matters to somebody. It's just kind of the feedback loop that I need to keep on going. It really does help. You have a great day. Thanks for being here. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.